In lesson 62, we're looking at complex roots of quadratic equations. We're going to be solving these quadratic equations by using completing the square like we've done earlier. So our first step is just to put this in order so that we have our x squared term first. So I'm going to have 3x squared minus x plus 5 equals 0. And then my x squared needs to have a coefficient of only 1. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. So I'll have x squared minus 1/3 x plus 5/3 equals 0. Then I'm going to move this 5/3 to the other side of the equal sign. So I'll have x squared minus 1/3 x. I'm going to leave a space equals negative 5/3. Okay, now I'm going to take half of 1/3 and square that. So half of 1/3 is 1/6, and 1/6 squared is 1/36. So then I'm going to add that plus 1/36 to each side. So I'm keeping my equation equal on both sides, or balanced. Okay, and in my next step, I'm going to go ahead and write this as a binomial squared. So I'll have x minus, because our negative 1/3 was negative, so this will also be negative 1/6. And we're going to have that as squared. So we take half of that 1/3, that negative 1/3, and that's what is subtracted from the x. Okay, then it's equal to, and then we need to combine these terms, so I'll have to get a common denominator, which is going to be 36. So I have to multiply top and bottom by 12, or many of you will just put this in your calculator to get that answer. So I would have a negative 60 over 36 plus 1/36. Okay, then I'm just going to keep this squared binomial the same. So I'm going to have x minus 1/6 squared equals. I'm going to combine these two fractions now that we have common denominators. So it's going to be a negative 59 over 36. Then I'll take the square root of both sides. So I'll have x minus 1/6 equals plus or minus the square root of 59i, because it was negative, so I need to take that negative out, making an I. And then the square root of 36 is 6. Okay, and then my last step is to add the 1/6 to the other side to get the x by itself. So I'll have x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 59i all over 6, because they both had the common denominator of 6 already, so I'm just going to write it as one big fraction. And then that's my answer. But now you can see we have i's in here. They're going to be complex answers or complex numbers. Alright, let me take this and move it down. There we are. Alright, so this equation again is a quadratic equation. We're going to be solving it very similarly as we did before. The numbers are a little different. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in order. So my x squared term is first. So I have 5x squared minus 2x. And I'll go ahead and leave that negative 3 on the other side, but I'm going to leave a space and negative 3. Okay, now I'll divide everything by 5, so I'm going to have x squared minus 2/5 x, leave a space, equals negative 3/5. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead, I take half of negative 2/5, so it would be negative 2/10. which would simplify to 1/5. I'll go ahead and write that as x minus 1/5 squared. And then I square the 1/5, and that'll be plus 1/25, and then plus 1/25. So that this will then be equal to, and I'll have to get common denominators, so I have to multiply top and bottom by 5. So I'll have a negative 15 over 25 plus 1 over 25. So x minus 1/5 squared equals a negative 14 over 25. And then I'll need to take the square root of both sides. So I have x minus 1/5 equals plus or minus the square root of 14i. So remember that negative 1 comes out as an I, and that is over 5 because the square root of 25 is 5. Then I just need to add the 1/5 so that x will be by itself. So x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 14i all over 5. And then that is our answer for that quadratic equation. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, just feel free to leave a comment and I will try to answer it as quickly as possible.